Peace and bliss. Welcome back to Reclaiming Our Roots. My name is Tanya, and I'm standing in front of my beautiful, beautiful blueberry bushes. This is like a two-part video. Primary purpose of this video is to share with you all how I feed my blooming, flowering blueberry bushes. And as you can see, they are starting to put on fruit. And guys, this is far more than what I had last year. Look at that. Look at all those blueberries in there. Aren't they beautiful? Now, a few days ago, there was some flowering going on out here. And as you can see on some of them, I don't know if I can really focus in. Oh, here we go, right here. We still have some flowers. So when my plants are flowering, I feed them differently than I feed, say, my potato plants. These plants are fed so far. Well, let me give you a better example. My cabbages, I feed them exclusively fish fertilizer, which is high in nitrogen, and it promotes the leafy green. So this is not going to produce a fruit like, say, a pepper plant would, or eggplant would, or tomato plant would. So I'll continue throughout the duration of this plant's life is to feed it fish fertilizer because it's high in nitrogen, which promotes leafy green. Now, once your plants, like the aforementioned plants I just mentioned, start to flower like so, you want to start to increase the intake of phosphorus. It helps with the flowering. It helps with stimulating the root development. It produces more buds. More buds equates to more berries. Okay? So I use, I think I left the fish fertilizer, not the fish fertilizer, the phosphorus. It is fish-based. Cameraman, if you don't mind, could you bring me the fish fertilizer, please? That I use. Thank you. So just want to give you all a quick demonstration, the distinction between when your plants are starting to flower opposed to plants that do not produce fruit, what their diet will consist of. Okay, so he's going to bring the bottle, but I do have the container here. This is a 2-gallon container. The instructions require you to feed 1 tablespoon of water per container. So there's 2 tablespoons. Cameraman, if you don't mind zooming it in where the good folks can see it. No, it's okay. Hold on. Actually, it was the other one, but that's okay. It's the other one. I'll show it to you because I have 2 of them out here. Because while we're out here, I'm also going to feed my cabbage plant. And they're going to get fish fertilizer, which is high, like I said, like the 3rd time already, high in nitrogen. So I'm just giving this a good drink. Feeding it roughly a gallon of water. Feed the other one here. And notice how I'm watering. Notice how I'm watering at the base. When you water your plants, you want to water at the base. You want to prevent as much as possible from watering at the top because you want to reduce the risk of powdery mildew and fungus developing on your plants. So you always want to water at the base because you don't want black backsplash and things of that nature to infect your leaves. Now, when it's raining outside, that's Mother Nature giving your plants a drink. You can't control that. But you water at the base for what you can control. Okay? So I'm going to take you all to the front. Switch over here. Because there's some things that I don't want to show you right now until the next garden tour. Now this here is a red cabbage plant. I have to feed this plant. I'm going to feed it the fish fertilizer. Again, I'm going to feed it about 2 gallons of water. I did get a question. Someone asked me, how frequently do I water my garden? Well, it depends. It depends on the amount of rain that we had for that week. It also depends on if there's any moisture in the containers. I do water more frequently in the summertime, naturally, because it's hotter outside. As I mentioned in previous videos, that containers heat up and moisture evaporates quickly. So you water more frequently than you would if your plants were in ground, okay? So it depends. But right now, I'm watering roughly once a week because we've had a lot of rain these last couple of weeks. And there's still some moisture in the containers. And what helps seal in that the moisture is the wood chips. It's also a great weed suppressant, but more importantly, it does help with retaining moisture. Okay, so I'm gonna pause for 2 seconds and I'll come back and we're gonna water the red cabbage. Oops, okay, I am back and we're gonna water this plant here. Again, I'm watering at the base. And when you're watering your plants in containers, you wanna water long and deep. You see how the water is absorbing? That's what you want. See that? Water is not settling at the top of the soil. Okay? Just give it a good water. I like to water all the way around because root sprawl. Ideally, you should water your plants long and deep until you start to see a stream of water trickling from the base. This, like I said, this is a 2-gallon container. And because we've had a lot of water, I don't need a lot of rain. I don't need that much water. So I think that is good. And I'll have you all out here. I'm going to show you. This is the fish fertilizer. It's from Alaska that I use. It's great for indoor and outdoor plants. For organic gardening, won't burn your plants. And notice the NPK on it. When I say NPK, I'm referring to these 3 digits, these 3 numbers here. N stands for nitrogen, which is 5. P stands for phosphorus, which is 1. And K stands for potassium. Okay? So when I'm growing my plants in various stages, some stages they'll be fed more nitrogen, like right now. These are pepper plants. These are fruit-bearing plants. They're going to bear fruit to peppers. I'm feeding them a lot of nitrogen right now. Once they start to flower, like the blueberry bush, then I will switch to a fertilizer that's high in phosphorus, okay? Because it promotes vigorous root growth, and you can use it on all flowering plants. And it's made with fish. Both of these are made with fish. So just think of it as fermented fish fertilizer. This one here has more of a pungent smell to it, where this one is tolerable. Actually, it's rather faint. I didn't smell anything. Okay, so just keep in mind during various stages of growing, your plants require different nutrients. Now, for the life of this mint plant, I'll only feed it nitrogen, and that's what I've been feeding it. And look how green and beautiful and lush. This is not a mint, I'm sorry, this is oregano. Aren't they beautiful? Here's the mint. See? It's time for a trim, actually, which will be my next video. I'll bring you all along and give you all a brief explanation on how I utilize my herbs and how I harvest my herbs. That'll be the next video. But it's a little overcast out here, and I did feel a couple of sprinkles, so I'm going to wrap this video up. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section. I hope all is well in your world, and talk to you on the next video. Peace and bliss.